Well, I just got out of Harbor Freight and I got an air chuck. I'm going to try this style, and I got another machete. So we'll get over here on the old bicycle. Got the bicycle unlocked and ready to go. And we'll try to get back without being flattened by a car, you know. Kendall Drive isn't too bad. It's a lot worse where I was at than this. And, you know, at least now they sell you these machete knives with a package, so you don't have to worry about stabbing yourself, which is a good thing. So we'll go ahead and try to get across this road. You can't really go there because if you try to cross that intersection, there's no traffic light to stop the traffic. They'll just run you over. So at least here you have some kind of light. And again, they always go through the red light. There we go. Not too bad. So, as I was mentioning before, I was talking about the whole idea, you know, whether carnivore is some kind of a carnivore cult, or if it's community or camaraderie or whatever you want to call it. It can be defined a lot of different ways. But what I want to do, well, first of all, I want to be able to make some decent video edits, which maybe I can. I don't know. That computer that was given to me is better than anything else I have. So that seems to be a possibility. But the other thing too is I need to come up with subjects. Now, there have been a lot of videos that I've been interviewed by people that have just disappeared. Now, we know that one of the most important of the carnivore channels for interviews is the Dave Mack channel. And you can still find my interview there. And you find a lot of interviews there. And some carnivores have made databases of the different carnivore personalities and whatever. But what I was thinking about doing is making videos with a little bit of a summary of each one of the prominent carnivore personalities. Now, I haven't been able to meet any of them in person yet. So that's why I really haven't pushed for any videos. But I'm sure a lot of you have met some of these people in person, and you might have some pretty good insights. So what I was thinking about is, as time goes on, you can feel free to share with me your experiences. If you wish to do it in public, you can do it on my Saturday morning live. You can also send me emails. You have my phone number, so you can call me. And there's just a lot of options there. But it's up to you. Whatever you want to do, that's what I'm looking for. Now again, it's not necessary. I'm sure everybody knows who's who. But I'm just thinking of doing something so that as these channels disappear, and they will, including mine, they're all going to disappear eventually. One day YouTube is going to go the way of some of the other websites that no longer exist. Remember GeoCities and Yahoo? They're gone. I mean, the Yahoo name still exists, but their websites are basically gone. There are many other websites that have disappeared. And I mean, before 98, I don't remember there being any Google. And this looks like a wind tunnel. I don't know if you can hear me. Anyway. So, I see they got some more boards over here. They'll be planting more trees and propping them up. You know, getting ideas for videos, I think, is important. Let's see. Yep. You never know where these people are going to go, even if they're on two wheels. But I think for most people, it would be beneficial if you can get an idea, maybe share some of your experiences. Now, I want to do some interviews, and I'm very, very close. They put more trees there. I'm getting very close to getting my little home studio working the way I like it to. Put the lights in there, put up the ceiling tiles on the ceiling and the walls, make it nice and quiet. And I guess what I'll have to do is use some kind of streaming software, maybe the free version or whatever, and do it that way. I mean, there's always Zoom or StreamYard or any of these other software platforms that you can use. So that's one thing. And then what I'll do is record it. A lot of people do that. I don't know how much time you get every month, but it's one way. Another way, I've used some of the open source meeting programs that you can do. And I know when I was first being interviewed, I don't remember there really being any streaming software websites. So a lot of people were using everything from Skype to Zoom to, I forget what the other program they used. I used to use one called Jitsi Meet, which was Linux based. You could host yourself. Say, well, Rick, why don't you get StreamYard? Well, I would, except it costs too much. Somebody said it was like $30 or more a month. And that's ridiculous because, as you know, my carnivore community doesn't make any money. It's a hobby, it's for personal interest, it's for meeting people. And although I have pretty much failed at it so far, I think things will improve. So anyway, my call to everyone, if you've had experience with any of these carnivore personalities, good, bad, whatever you wish to share, I would like to get your input. You can remain anonymous. I'm not going to post anyone's username unless they specifically ask me to do so. But it might be a way of clearing the air. Now, I genuinely believe that the majority of carnivore YouTubers are sincere. I can't imagine them taking advantage of people to make money. But you'll notice that some people come and go. And what happens, I think, they use the community to try to get noticed. And then once they get out there, they can promote some kind of event or product or service and get money off of that. Now again, I'm not saying it's bad. Promoting a good product or service is just good business. And it's like a friend of mine always said, good business is when all parties to the business transaction win. And if you could provide that kind of business, look at all that traffic on the turnpike. This is ridiculous. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just not moving. This is what you get. I think we're like 4:30. It's just one big parking lot. It's terrible. Anyway, I don't have to deal with that mess because unlike most drivers, I'm on the bike. I'm going down the back of the shopping center. I take shortcuts all over the place. And my bicycle is not motorized. It is pedal power. That's it. Pedal your way over there. What's interesting, I've had a few people comment on my videos. They see me going on the bike up and down like this dirt pile and all that. And they say, you know, for someone that rides pretty vigorously, you don't seem to get out of breath. And that's true. So some of the more advanced in age and declining health carnivores, they often have what I would call, I guess you would say, setbacks. So what they have to do, they have to, they have to go a little bit slower. Not everyone is able to perform at a high rate. Now, if you're a 16-year-old starting a carnivore diet, you should have a lot more resiliency than a 60-year-old. If you're a 60-year-old who's been sick most of your life, and you start the carnivore diet, you can't expect to get better overnight. We're going uphill here, through grass and dirt. Maybe I should downshift. There we go. Make it a little easier to pedal, although you do go slower. The fun part, though, comes when you go down the hill. That's the good part. I see a van just like mine. Well, almost like mine. All right. That's why I like to ride a mountain bike. Let's see, this one and it doesn't have any rust on the top. There's got to be a van with a blown up engine that I can get my hands on and use for parts. Well, anyway, getting back to the subject at hand, I really hope that these groups are helping us get more together. Because in many ways, there's just too many things trying to pull people apart. You ever heard that saying, divide and conquer? Well, what they don't tell you is that people who exist, the top, the 0.1% or whatever you call them, their wealth comes from our suffering. Every one of us, no matter who we are. Whether we're a certain race or another, a certain income or another, as long as they're above us in connections and income, we are the victims. But the thing is, what people don't understand, they need us. We don't need them. If every one of these parasitic elites were eliminated, let's say there was some type of virus, or let's say that just God struck them down, they disappeared, they wouldn't be missed. Politicians, CEOs, all these people, they produce absolutely nothing. All they do is occupy space and consume resources. Resources that the people who actually produce the food, the energy, and the other products that we need can use. I mean, think about it. I just bought air chuck and a machete. Somebody had to make these things. Now, obviously, they were made overseas, most likely in China. But these Chinese workers, they had to accept less than they would have if it was a true free competitive market. And if it was a free competitive market, we would be able to get this stuff locally. I'd be able to go in my neighborhood, find somebody down the street who made them or stockpiled them, and I could buy directly. That would be absolutely ideal. And they got a van back there in the Seventh-day Adventist Church that's the same front as mine. So, again, it's pretty basic. And I really hope that more and more of us understand that we actually hold the power. We have the power to break the corrupt system. And we can do that in very simple ways. For example, not going into debt, not making ourselves sick, trying to be as proactive as possible. If we know that something is going to happen, for example, if a tree fell on our roof and poked a hole in it, we wouldn't wait for the rain to come and flood our house and ruin it. We'd be up there patching it. If our health is not up to par, we would make the effort to try and fix it. That's really what I'm talking about. Being proactive and avoiding future problems. That would be an ideal situation. And again, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of education. But it all comes back to us understanding each other. Now, what I've noticed in the carnivore community, certain communities, they don't seem to accept the more extreme versions. For example, people that have mental issues, people that have neurological issues, people that have just problems that the carnivore diet is not going to fix. For example, if you lost your hand in an accident, you're not going to grow it back on the carnivore diet. If you have severe brain damage from a car accident or from a genetic condition, the carnivore diet is not going to fix that. What the carnivore diet will do, in most cases, is going to moderate the effects of everything. Looks like this whole shopping center is closed. Oh, the Chuck Wagon restaurant, everything's closed. Weird. Oh well. Maybe they're getting ready to demolish it. Knowing this, no, the lights are still on. Oh well. The traffic backup isn't so bad as it was earlier. It's clearing up. But again, making my trip to Harbor Freight, I'm only going to spend another maybe 15 minutes max. And that's it. So, the only thing I got to deal with is the unsafe drivers. Other than that, I think I'm doing pretty good. Well, anyway, those are the thoughts I wanted to share. I'll be making the turn to my street soon. So I just wanted to share those thoughts with you, and I hope you're doing well, and I'll catch you later. Hopefully I'll be home in time for the Dr. Kilt Zoom call. Catch you then.